The Nikki Glaser Podcast. The Nikki Glaser Podcast.
Here's Nikki.
Hello, here I am. It's Nikki Glaser. It's the Nikki Glaser Podcast. Good week. Welcome to the week. I was gonna say good morrow, and then I was gonna say good Monday. It's Tuesday. Welcome to the show. We did not have a show yesterday. Andrew and I are both different versions of sick. I'm loving it. Never get sick. I really embraced it. I'm already better, and I'm kind of annoyed by it. Andrew is in his apartment. We're keeping distance just because we don't know what each of us might or might not have. And we got shows this weekend. But yeah, we're doing the pod. Sorry we missed yesterday. Noah is in Arizona. She is wearing a Bestie hat. That is so merch. Cute. People got their merch yesterday. I was getting so many messages from besties. So cute.
You guys are getting yours on Thursday.
I'm so excited. Well, I hope it gets there before I probably won't get there before I leave town, but we're going to New Orleans on Thursday, and then Jacksonville Friday, Fort Lauderdale Saturday, Nashville Sunday. Nashville.
It's not the other way around?
Okay, or maybe it's Jacksonville, Fort Lauderdale, Jacksonville.
Wouldn't that make more sense? Just
well, I don't know the topography of Florida. You think I know where Fort Lauderdale and Jacksonville are? No offense to anyone. You just found out St. Louis was where it is, and you've been living here 2 years.
Florida's such an easier state than St. Louis is. They're all squares out here.
No, it's not a square. It has a little boot heel. It has a little chunky boot heel that you would wear a little pair of flare jeans with. It'd be so cute. I love that little
People
boot
are
heel.
probably like, dude, Missouri's just like Italy with the boot.
Oh, yeah. Italy's like a stiletto. Yeah. I wonder if someone's made, I bet you anything, there have been stilettos made that are the shape of Italy. That like have all like the craggly. Do you know what I'm saying?
That's how it all started.
Yeah.
It was in Rome.
You look good.
1847.
For 42
me?
and
yeah,
Cocoa
it was my
Paz.
birthday. Yeah, it was my birthday, and I didn't do anything. Absolutely nothing. And honestly, I don't.
What? You went in the car and got CPK. We saw that. You took your cat in the car, which is hilarious.
Dude, a cat in the car, I was talking to Noah about this, is people don't expect. It's like seeing a lizard in the car. Like, people don't expect to see a cat in the car.
It was cute.
Like, so we pulled up on these two people. Is that because
you just don't want it to destroy your house when you're gone, or you just like wanted to still be with it?
Just be with it. And it's just
cute.
like, our cat is like a dog in a way.
You take him on an adventure.
Yeah, he was kind of freaking out. I mean, imagine if you're an animal in a car going 80 on the highway, and you know, it's no matter what animal you are.
Dogs love it for some reason. Dogs can embrace it; they just get it.
Buzzy loves it. My cat loves it.
Buzzy loves the.
He's a good car cat.
Oh, car cat. What's your cat's name again? Mango or Nacho? Fuck. I'm really sorry. I'm not playing dumb. Hold on. Let me try to get it. Wait. That was an off-camera ham trip. Wait a second. Hold on. I know your cat. Cosmo. No. Is it Mango? Have I said it yet? Mango.
Yes.
Okay. That's the thing that Kirsten's allergic to. That's how I'll remember it.
Yeah, Mango is his name.
I just memorized another cat's name when I did Beat Bobby Flay, and his cat's name was Nacho, and I had to like create a mnemonic device to remember that. And so a new cat within a week of me memorizing that name. That's why I'm effing it up. And I haven't met it yet.
Yeah, I mean, no, it's tough. 2 cats. No, Nikki's never come into my apartment. She's waiting for it to be perfectly ready.
No, I've been in your apartment. I love your apartment.
I haven't
been in town really, and now you have a disease. Is COVID a disease?
I don't know. I mean, all I know is that COVID. I have high blood pressure. Remember I told you about that years ago, and I was trying to get it down. I haven't. It's funny when a doctor asks you and you haven't gone on you find out you have high blood pressure. Mm-hmm. I never really went back and like worked on it to realize has it gone down?
I'm just impressed that you even got that diagnosis. Like I just, yeah, I'm just, I'm impressed with you. Like you got COVID. We both got exposed to COVID. Friday night. We were like in the tiniest. We were like in a COVID. Yeah. It would be like what you put people in to give them COVID so you can study them. We were in that room with Natasha and Moshe, at Moon Tower in Austin, a little tiny green room at the Paramount Theater, which was the best theater I've ever performed in terms of like comedy, acoustics, and just the people. But it was worth it. I loved hanging out with them. And then it was so funny because we were talking about how Natasha's like, you know, I haven't gotten COVID yet. I literally do nothing. I don't do anything. I just didn't want to get it. And she wasn't hoity-toity about it. That's just how she talks. But she was like, no, Nikki, I literally do nothing. And there's a picture of us and she actually took a picture of me at one point, and she sent it to me later. And she goes, this was mid-transmission. But the next day, you know, I get a call from Moshe. We're pulling into wherever, and he's like, Natasha has COVID. And I'm just like, like, we didn't even care.
I mean, it's just, you know, we're vaxxed, we're boosted, we've traveled so much. We've definitely been in contact with people with COVID.
The irony is everyone's getting it, and the airlines just lifted the mask mandate.
Oh, it's
Did you hear that? Everyone on planes, like the you know, they're getting over the thing and they're going, well, masks are now optional starting now, and people like are throwing them off and cheering. Like I'm reading on Reddit all about it. But you tested Popo.
Yeah, I tested Popo Sunday. I was feeling a little under weather, and then Sunday night I was really fucked up. So then our showrunner, Ailey from Nikki Glaser, Welcome Home, comes watch it on May 1st.
That's not the name of
coming
the
out.
show at all.
Huh?
You want to try again?
I just felt rushed. I don't know why. Welcome home, Nikki Glaser.
that sounds like there's an exclamation point.
Yeah, there is.
It's just has like it's drunk. It's just
look. I still think it should be analyzed. Nikki Glaser, come on down now.
You did pitch that, and it got to the higher ups, and it got shot down. So Ailey saw that you posted that you had COVID, and she wrote you.
Yeah, and she's like, "Look, I thought I was out of." The weird thing about COVID is you can be like fine, you think, and then a day later it's like, "Nah, I'm still in you, bitch." You know, I'm still here.
Yeah, that's what I
hear. She got a doctor. Paxlovid is a drug, an antiviral drug. That if
it's
you
like the COVID drug.
It's the COVID drug, but you have to take it within like 36 hours of getting symptoms, like right away.
Oh, okay.
And then she's like, "I'll have my doctor call you," and I was like, "Okay." Like I never would have done this. It's so nice.
She's so
that
nice.
Like, did this.
She's such like a mama bear. Like
she found like a pharmacy that has it. Like
what?
It was extreme. It was extremely nice.
Ailey, God damn you.
Yeah,
she's the best. That's the person that was in charge of putting my family and friends on a reality show. Like that's who you want in charge. Who's not going to take advantage. Go on.
So the doctor's like, I'm at Universal with my kids. After I get out of there, I'm like, I probably got him out of there quicker. I'm sure he wasn't loving it, but
he's on the Indiana Jones ride.
And he's like, oh, I'd love to stay here, but I got to help this random guy I've never met. He called me. He's like, then when you talk to a doctor, you can feel as sick as you can. But once you talk to a doctor, like you're like, I'm not going to die anymore. I don't know what it is about a soothing voice of a physician. And I think, you know, my dad always talked about like bedside manner, you know, when you blow your patient. Yeah. No, but like, I don't know what, like, but 90% of being a doctor is making people feel okay with whatever's going on with it. Which is ironic
because a lot of times doctors, it is so important, but a lot of times doctors have terrible bedside manner.
Yeah.
Bedside manner sounds like a subdivision that you try to buy your parents into when you're ready to say goodbye. Mom, Dad, I got you a condo at Bedside Manor, and it's going to be the last gate you pass through before the pearly ones.
Don't act like your parents are going to heaven over there.
Oh, no, they for sure are. Wait a second. So, but I like that. So you grew up hearing about this elusive bedside manner. Your dad talking about how it's important, but you're right. Like there is something very soothing about a doctor just. But so often as women, we read about and also you hear about Black people like don't have their pain taken seriously because there's like doctors tend to think, you know, there's been studies of it of Black people can take more pain than white people, and so there's not as much empathy for them, and that's why a lot of Black women die in childbirth because their pain is not taken seriously. Like they have way more they have a higher death rate during childbirth than white women. And then also women in general are kind of treated like, oh, you're hysterical. Like, we're always like crampy and bampy, and I'm a little Cody Bodie baby boo boo. And so I think that when we actually like, our pain isn't taken seriously, but it's so soothing when I had a UTI and I just emailed my doctor, who I haven't seen in fucking forever because she's in LA. The second time I emailed for her for meds, she goes, you got to kind of come in and see me. You know, like, I got to make some money off of this. But she was so nice to be like, just think,
I love you just
back.
writing like, my vagina's falling off again.
It honestly
she's like, I gotta see you in person, lady. Like,
she just was like, this is normal. I was like, I've never gotten them in my life. I feel like I have to shit out of my vagina constantly and it won't come out. Like, I described everything. I was on the way to Six Flags.
What's your email subject on that?
UTI help SOS, all caps, possibly COVID. But yeah, it does feel good but your doctor said that COVID loves high blood pressure.
Yeah, and he's like, so do you have
I don't
high
like
blood
COVID
pressure?
being personified. Like, COVID goes like, I can't wait.
Yeah.
Like, I just picture COVID like drooling and like being like, like,
yeah, I can see that too.
I don't like it.
Just a horny little boy be like, ooh, look at all that blood. Ooh, it's high.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what it was like. And so apparently if you have high blood pressure, you get into your cells easier, apparently. And,
so did that freak you out?
A little
Were you
bit.
worried about dying from COVID at any point? Were you that sick? Because I kept checking in on you and I was like, because you were like, I feel like hell. And I didn't know. I'm always curious about how people feel because I want to know, like, what does it, because not bragging, I rarely get sick. So I don't understand when people are like, I'm so sick. I just want to know, like, what's the feeling? Like, what it.
I don't know. I just think more than anything, it's brain fog. It's deliriousness. It's like feeling like you can't connect with your own body, with your own mind.
Well, brain frog is how you describe brain fog when you have brain fog.
I didn't say frog, did I?
You had a little bit of a thing. Yeah, there was something.
Was there a jump in my throat?
There's
a hop in my skip?
Wait a second. So
Toad.
Your birthday, the celebrations were, I know you were going to go out to dinner. You were going to get maybe a facial. You were going to probably, like, you were just going to have a nice evening. You were getting back from tour. It was going to be like a nice, calm, you're probably going to play some golf. But that didn't happen. But is it a birthday you'll remember at least?
That's what I said yesterday. I was like, I was telling Brenna, I was like, I know this kind of sucks that I couldn't really do any of that shit, but you know me, I'm pretty fucking simple. I was very happy with like not doing anything, and I will remember. I will. Going back to that doctor with the high blood pressure, when a doctor asks you like, you know, what meds are you on? Do you have any medical history? For some reason, whenever a doctor asks me if I have medical history, you know, when you're going through the line at the airport and you think you have Coke in your bag because you were in Vegas or whatever, like you think,
feel like you did something wrong.
Yeah, so when they're like, what's your medical history? Like, do you have any negative? And I'm like, yeah, I think I had cancer last year. Like, in my mind, I'm like thinking about, I don't know, like I almost have to prove them that I do have like bad things.
You're almost like, because you feel like you'd be lying if you said no.
Yeah. Or like, how many drinks do you have a week? You know, that line.
You're like 3 last week, but before then 0 for 3 years.
Pretty much. You know, so he's funny. Like, that's what did it.
Dude,
that's what did it.
How funny was it this weekend when there was this chef that came in and like made us a whole meal in,
oh God.
His name is Justin Box. It was in Dallas. And he made us this whole vegan 3-course meal. It was beautiful. And he was talking about being sober in 13 years. And Anya's like, oh, I have 11 years. And I was like, oh, I have 10 years. And Andrew was like, I have 9 days. What was it? It was so funny.
I think I have 5 days.
It was such a good moment because I wasn't even thinking about it. We were just going around just like kind of saying and I don't even count. Like I haven't been sober I've been sober from alcohol for 10 years, but that was just, it made me laugh so hard. You chiming in.
Oh, it's just so funny whenever someone's like, it's all about the streak, baby. That streak.
Yeah, but I will say we talked shit about the streak before, and I'm not responding to anything I got feedback on, but I think that a lot of times that streak is something that keeps severe addicts sober, and so I like it for them. Like being able to say years, like that's a big deal for some people who have had their lives like in the fucking gutter, to say 13 years, whatever. Like for me, I like to lose track of streaks because I get obsessive about them. But you know what? And even if alcoholics are obsessive about the streak, it's better that than being obsessed with alcohol. But I do agree with you that, you know, streaks are what I said it on the podcast before. They are what tech companies use to psychologically get us addicted to their things. They know we love a streak, so try to fight streaks as much as you can in life and be easy with yourself to go, okay, I can skip a gym day. I don't need to go, oh, I've done the gym 9 days in a row. Like, take moderation, let yourself. And that's why I said to Andrew, like, okay, so you had 3 years and now you drank 2 nights in a row. You can go back to just not drinking, or you can go, like, just be easy, because if you feel defeated, if you feel what leads to addictive behavior and abusing substances is the feeling we have towards ourselves. It's not about the drink. It's not about the food. It's about feeling bad and needing to anesthetize that feeling. So when you fuck up your streak, don't punish yourself. Be like, okay, well, I did it. Well, go, but like, just be gentle. I have a hilarious thing to tell you about that I don't even know that I'm ready to tell you guys about.
Oh, you got to tell. You
after
can't
we come back from break.
Yes, you got to.
Okay, it's so insane, and I'm really worried about even talking about it because it's the weirdest thing maybe that's ever happened to me, and I'm not joking you. So
more than shins?
It was last night.
More than shins?
What's shit? Oh, I thought you said shins when I gave that guy a shin job. Because I didn't want to touch his penis. I got to bring that joke back in my act. That was really good. No, it is weirder than shittins what I did last night. All right, we'll hear about that when we get back right after this. Andrew!
Come on now.
No, you're not. Okay, welcome back to the show. All right, I think I'm ready to divulge what happened. I'm just in the mood for it. I was going to say I wasn't going to do it. You could not guess if you tried. You could not guess. Okay, I'll give you a guess. Okay, it is inspired from, it happened because of Whitney Cummings.
Okay, it happened because of Whitney Cummings.
Yeah, this would not have happened in my life had Whitney Cummings not
Okay, does it have to do with the family constellation?
Yes!
Whoa, okay, I'm excited to hear this.
Okay, I have to, so did I tell you about this on the podcast?
Yes.
Okay. You talked about what it was, yes.
Which, by the way, I don't know what it is to this day. So I talked to this woman, you guys, if you didn't hear, I talked to this woman the other day to have like a preliminary talk about what this would be. I found out during the talk, I knew nothing about it. Whitney was just like, oh, in my past, I learned that I was scared of horse carriages because in my past, my, great-great-grandfather like had something to do with horse carriage or something like that. So she's like, so I call this woman, she's talking to me about my fears, and I'm like, how does this work? And I kind of glean that it's like a psychic thing, which I am only now really open to it, like it maybe thinking psychics have some sort of actual ability, which I believe mostly that they're full of shit. I only believe psychics are real because of Tyler Henry and his Netflix show. It's made me believe, and like people are intuitive. I don't think he is like a charlatan who is trying to like get famous from this thing. It would be too weird. It would be too out of character for him. So I talked to this woman the other day for about an hour. She talked to me about my fears. I said I have fears of perfectionism. I have fears of, streaks of, I have fears of being unloved. I have fears of, I just talked about all my stuff. And it was actually pretty hard for me to come up with stuff because I feel so accepting of these things. I really don't feel like I need to fix anything in my life. Like I have tools to fix the things. I have a recovery program. I already I'm not saying I'm fixed because I love that things keep bubbling up because it makes me, who I am, and it makes challenges in my life and it makes me do weird, kooky things. But I just don't need another thing to fix things, and I felt like this was a little bit, it had some 12-step stuff in it. It had some therapy type stuff, but then she started talking about, she started just reading through the phone, like something happened to you when you were 4.5. Your parents put some kind of punishment on you, I thought she was giving an example of what our work would look like because this was preliminary. I thought she was, because I was like, how does this work? And she goes, okay, well, and she's talking me through it. And she goes, so let me just see. It happened to you. Let's go by years. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4? Okay, is it 4? No, it's 5. No, it's 4.5. Something up. And I go, is this an example or is this what you're feeling? She's like, no, something happened at 4.5. I'm like, okay, I don't really even know what that would be. I blacked out everything at 4.5. So clearly nothing happened. That's a joke. But so
4 3/4.
Last night I have my session with her. I was supposed to be in LA, but like we talked about in the first part of the show, I thought I was getting sick around the time Andrew was getting sick. A lot of stuff happened. I was headed to the airport to go to LA yesterday or on Sunday morning. I was supposed to be in LA all week. Andrew texts me. He goes back to St. Louis much earlier than me. I'm in the middle of the day. I'm late for my flight. My bags are not going to be checked, so I'm trying to get on a later flight to LA. As I'm doing that, I'm texting Jen, my assistant, trying to figure it out. Andrew texts me, I tested positive for COVID. And I'm like, yes, because I just did not feel like going to LA. I just wanted to go back home. And I was already feeling kind of sick. And I was like, you know what? I just want to go home. Anyway, I'm missing home, missing my dog, even though I don't have my fucking dog. So I write Jen, screw finding this later flight to LA. Let's go to St. Louis. So then I go to St. Louis. And I was supposed to be in LA having this session with this woman last night, Monday night. We're supposed to go from 7, and she said it's 2 hours long. So last night I get on, she moves it slightly, so it's 7:30 my time. 7:30 my time, I get on with her on Zoom. And I really am still unclear about what I'm doing. I don't know what this is at all. And she's kind of talking to me about, she goes, well, a lot of people think humans have been around for billions of years. And I was just like, And she goes, a lot of people think we did not evolve from monkeys, from apes. And I go, I'm really going to have a hard time with that, because that's like, I'm very indoctrinated. Like, my whole belief system is evolution. Yes. And I have like science to support it, and I just believe in that. And she goes, I did too, for 45 years. But it's actually Yahweh was the great creator. He created humans. Humans are the royal species. It was about like humans being royal. Aliens have studied us. It was a lot right away. And I go, doesn't this take weeks, months, years to get someone on board with these kinds of concepts? Like, it was just like introductory, like, okay, so humans have been around for billions of years, and we are all on this work is on a quantum level, which means what she does with family constellation is she's intuitive. She believes that all humans are intuitive, and we do not tap into our intuitive powers. And so she teaches me, doesn't even teach me, she just asks me questions, and I have to just intuit the feeling. And what we do is we go back and repair family ancestral history of, we have millions of, like, thousands, millions, whatever it is, of ancestors.
Can you remember any of the questions that she asked, like an example?
Yes. It's about to get fucking weird. Believe you me, it's about to get weird. Okay. So I have no idea what this work is. So I'm sitting there. This probably takes 30 minutes. She's talking about how we go back and repair, different examples of like how this has helped. Her brother does this work too. I'm really just kind of going along with it because Whitney said, whether or not it does anything for you, believe in it. It's just a good story. She was right. So I'm trying to actually believe it. I'm trying to just like wrap my head around what would it be like to just surrender to this is true. Like instead of me being a skeptic the whole time, just like enjoy it. So I'm on board. I'm like, just be a fucking believer in this. So then we start doing the work, which is, so we go back. She takes on, she's like, you're yellow shirt, I'm red shirt. She's wearing a red shirt. I'm wearing a yellow Lululemon shirt. And she's like, you're yellow shirt. Now we are going to take on the roles of different ancestors from your past. I don't know who these people are. They're just going to come through. Let's set an intention. Let's set energy out there. And so we take a second, and then she's like, okay, I'm red shirt, and I'm going to, so she interacts with me. And this is all stuff I've gleaned because it's very confusing. She doesn't explain it well enough. I have to say, if I could give her some notes, I don't know anything about this. All of a sudden she's like, okay, you're yellow shirt, I'm red shirt. Okay, I'm red shirt. All right. Oh, I don't want to even look at you. I can't even look at you. No. I'm looking over here. I'm not looking at you. I do not like what you did to me. And I start going, okay, I'm trying to like just feel I'm a character now in my past. I don't know who I am. How am I relating to this red shirt? So red shirt, it turns out, she starts going, okay, what am I? Who am I? She's talking to like a great spirit or something. I don't even know who she's talking to, the universe. She's like, who am I? She goes, how old am I? Am I a girl? Yes. Am I a boy? No. Now I always have to double check because sometimes you think it's a girl because you have your own preconceived notions of what a girl is but I'm feeling, okay, it's a girl. Okay, how old am I? Do we go by years? No. Do we go by months? No. Do we go by weeks? Yes. Okay. 1, 2 weeks old. Okay. My neck. I feel someone holding my arms and my neck. Was I shaken? Am I a shaken baby? Yes. Okay. Who is yellow shirt? Who is this to me? Is this my mother? No. I can't look at you. Okay. Is it my father? No. Okay, yellow shirt, how are you feeling in relation to me? And I'm just like fucking weirded out. I don't know. Like, I'm Nikki. Like, I am not I don't know who I am. And so I'm just like, okay, what do I feel? And I'm like, that you're being ridiculous. I didn't know if that was my ancestor coming through or Nikki, you know? So I'm like, I honestly feel like you're exaggerating and like you deserved it or whatever. Like, I was just trying to tap into like what I felt from this woman who was like pretending to be a baby that couldn't look at me, that was shaken. And she goes, okay, was this a nanny? So it turns out that I am a nanny. I am a caregiver that this baby's mother purposely gave over to the caregiver because the mother didn't want the baby because the baby was born deformed and the mother didn't want it. So she purposely put it in the care of someone who was abusive, who she knew would shake the baby. And I'm the person who shook the baby. And so then she starts as the baby saying, I release to the universe my victimization because this baby feeling like a victim has permeated my family history backwards and forwards and has led to all of this victimization of like all my ancestors feeling like victims. Any questions so far, you guys?
Am I black shirt?
Yes. Who are you to me, black shirt?
I mean, yes, I get giving away.
The beginning. I'm not gonna. I will try to like make it as short as possible, but this is just the beginning. So then I, as yellow shirt, really get into character, and I'm like, well, actually, you know what I feel like? I feel like I did that baby a favor because life is fucking hard, and we figure out this is 5 generations from me or whatever. You know, like we're doing this is acting, right? So 5 generations ago was like 1820, and I'm like, honestly, life sucks. And I did this baby a favor by shaking it because my life is hell. I'm like a weird wet nurse. And yes, Noah?
Is there any way for you to verify this with your family tree?
So then, yes, thank you very much. So then, no, there's no way for me to verify that unless I was to do some really deep digging, which I haven't. I might be inspired to do just to fact check. So then I release the guilt I feel over shaking this baby and the anger I feel at the baby. I release all this stuff. So it on a quantum level, it's supposed to permeate through not only me, but my, Poppy, my parents, and like all of this healing will happen in my life now because of that. Then she takes on a bunch of different people. We are an hour and 45 minutes in, and I'm looking at the clock being like, and I'm tired because this drains you because you're taking on these characters. You're trying to like really pull your energy. I mean, it was late at night and I had a long day, so maybe that's why I was tired. But I was starting to go, I was really trying to believe it because why not? Why sit there skeptically the whole time? Like, I was just like, let's just have fun. And then it gets to 2 hours and she goes, how are you on time? And at this point, we're different. We've been different people in my past, and I'm not going to bore you with those, but it was all this stuff. And I go, I'm good, meaning like, this was good for me. I'm done. And she goes, okay, now I'm white shirt. She takes off her jacket. I'm like, oh no! And she goes, you're gray shirt. And I'm like, oh God, because I'm wearing like a thing underneath. And I'm like, oh God, here we go again. Then she becomes someone else. She keeps asking like, who is this person? I can't even, again, I have a great relationship with my mother. You're my father and I hate you. I don't like you. But my mom, oh, this feels inappropriate how much I love my mom. She's just smiling in the corner at mom being like, I love you. And I'm just like, and I'm the dad just being like, I'm just acting like, ugh, this. And she goes, how do you feel in relation to me, white shirt? And I'm like, I feel disgusted. Like, I think it's weird that you're like so close with your mom. And then it gets into this whole thing. Then I turn into my grandpa. And then this is where I start going, okay. So I'm my grandpa. I'm a grandpa. She is my grandma at one point. And she's like, I'm a pistol. Because she finds out, I go, they were divorced when my dad was very young. She's like, I'm a little pistol. And you don't understand me. You can't handle me. And did your grandma leave your grandpa? And I go, yeah. And she goes, you know what? You didn't give me enough attention. You weren't there for me. You didn't understand me. And I go, he also beat the shit out of her. And she's like, yeah, that's the ringing in my ear. Okay, I'm getting like someone hit me in my ear. And I'm like, yeah, and that might be like the guns he like shot off in the house when he was violently drunk. And that's why she left. And so then it becomes like, it just shifts. Yeah, she's a pistol. No, there's a pistol next to my head. So it just shifts. And I start to see like the little stuff you give them, what they do with it. And I do believe this woman believes what she's doing. Yeah. But I did this for 3 hours. And I'm texting Whitney on the side like, I am role playing as my closeted great uncle. And I don't like, this is the most dramatic, this is the best act. Like we should, write Francis Ford Coppola. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
and Whitney paid for this, by the way.
At any point where you're like, she would make a great acting coach. At least I'm getting that out of it.
Yeah, she starts
like,
crying.
Is that what your thoughts? Yeah.
Yeah, I was
but
like,
is
this
she
woman's
almost
a really
showing?
good actor.
Does it feel like she's almost showing how good she is, as opposed to like really getting to anything?
No, I mean, I believed her, Andrew. It's a weird thing. Like, I believed that I was kind of like looking at her tissue, like, is it actually wet? Is she wiping? Can I see tears? But then I saw tears, and she was like, I'm an empath, and I already like feel so much, but so it just, all this stuff started coming out. So I wrote, so part of it was I playing my grandpa, was watching. It was something about my grandpa's family, and like he was very close with his mother. His dad was jealous of them or whatever. And so I wrote my dad being like, what was grandpa's relationship like with his mom and dad? Mm-hmm. And that's where I'm like, okay, I'll fact check this. And my dad goes, I don't know. And my dad knows everything about his dad, about like my dad's obsessed with lineage. And he goes, I don't know. And I was like, okay. And he goes, I have a feeling that his dad beat him a lot. That's just a feeling I have. And I go, well, I could have told you that because grandpa beat you, grandpa was abusive and hurt people, of course he got beat. And my dad just wrote back, yep. And so I think it was very painful for my dad. But what this does is it does get me into my like exploring, like, okay, I want to fact check this now. And it was interesting. And it was an experience. And Whitney, and I don't think I'll have to limit them to 1 hour sessions because it was 3 hours. Till 10:30 at night, I was playing the role of my ancestors. And it was so weird. Do you ever find yourself... It honestly reminds me of like when I think I hear people do sexual weird things where they're like, this guy wanted me to do this thing. And I don't know, I was just up for it. And like we were doing a threesome. And I'm like, how did you do that? That's so scary. I felt like that. Like I felt like I was being a little bit coerced into doing this very weird thing. And at one point you just give in and you go... okay, let me just like see what I can do. And maybe this didn't pay off as much as I alluded to it, like saying it was, but it truly was the weirdest thing I've ever done because acting like my ancestors when you don't really believe it was so weird. And also it was just on Zoom.
What's the conclusion?
And also her son's Minecraft kept going off on the computer. And so she would be like, I'm just feeling like I'm going to forgive you for being violent and be like, ba-ding, ba-ding, ba-ding. And I would just see her eyes kind of go to the side and go like look at the alerts and kind of get like frustrated. And she'd be like, and I release my resentment and I release my victim. Ba-ding, ba-ding, ba-ding. It's just like, what is my life? And why? How do these fucking spirits come through on Zoom? How are they getting it to work? It's just, it all, I was very much like, I would love Sam Harris to weigh in on this and how much of an eye roll this is. But you know what? You can't learn new things unless you open your mind to actually accepting them and not walking in cynically to everything in life. And so it was a lesson in that.
Yeah, it feels like it's like taking ayahuasca without taking the drug. Like this was your ability to kind of release and let go and kind of, take off that like skeptic brain that we all have.
Yes.
Which you can learn a lot about yourself when you do that. That being said,
3 hours of that skeptic brain,
yeah.
It starts to, like, for an hour, I can let it go. For 3 hours, I start texting my friends saying, you would not believe what's happening. And I did record it on Zoom so I could have it for myself. She told me to, but it's on our work computer, and I didn't want to save it because it was a 3-hour video session. But man, I wish I could have.
How did it conclude? Like, how does it end? How does something like that end?
It concluded with her going, okay, at 3 hours, okay, she goes,
yeah,
okay, now
Did you have another shirt on?
Salmon
under?
shirt. And I go, I got to be honest, I can't do it. I go, I am exhausted and I got to go. My grandpa says that my grandpa's coming through and he's telling me that I need to watch the next episode of The Ultimatum with my boyfriend over the phone. That's what he wants us to do. And I want to release me from the guilt of finishing this session early. So I did watch The Ultimatum, which is amazing. Let's get to the news.
You wore too many layers, Nick. That's the funniest part about this is she had on so many shirts.
Oh my God. She's like, I'm nude bra. And I'm like, oh God, please keep it on.
I'm in her tits.
Here's the news.
You heard it here first. Yeah, you heard it here first.
Oh boy. It's Tuesday, folks. You know what that means. It is Tuesday. Hope you're having all the swells out there. And I haven't been because, I've been dying from a virus. I'm on a ventilator right now. Just kidding. Everything's fine. All right.
I did test negative just now. And I want to say the COVID test that thank you so much to Brenna. Shout out. Love you so much. Miss you so much. She gave me one of her tests.
Miss you, baby. Kisses.
When you do the COVID test, the line shows up either C or T. And my line showed up a heart.
CT. Like, when you're positive, it's C and the T show.
Oh, it's both.
It's both.
Oh. Well, I didn't read the instructions and I just saw a line on C and I was like, oh, well, that's COVID. And Andrew goes, no. I sent a picture. I go, Mama's got it. And he goes, no, you don't. It's just C. I'm like, what? So I don't have COVID. I just have a cold from my boyfriend who gave me a cold. But COVID's out there, even though no one's wearing masks anymore. It's surging. Surgeon General. Let's get to the first news story.
All right. A man wins a $450,000 lawsuit after his coworkers threw him an office birthday party against his wishes that triggered a panic attack.
I heard about this and I did not click on the article because I just go, what? I had a feeling I would hear about it on here. So you're telling me the medical and the suffering that he endured because of having a panic attack, because of all the tension on him from the surprise little cake situation, that's what he wants compensation for.
It's a little bit more complicated than that because he ultimately got fired. So
what did he do during this panic attack that got him fired?
So they threw him off his birthday party and he had to go to his car because, he had to go through all the coping mechanisms. He had to be on his own. And his managers were like confused and they said that he stole his coworker's joy. They then later on called him into the office, which triggered another panic attack. And ultimately they fired him. So the lawsuit was $120,000 in lost wages and benefits, $30,000 in future wages, because the company is like a medical company that profited a lot off of the pandemic.
Right.
And he was not there for that because they fired him in 2019.
Oh, so this is a while ago.
In 2019, this happened.
Okay.
And $300,000 for past, present, and future mental pain and suffering, mental anguish, embarrassment, humiliation, mortification, and loss of self-esteem.
Andrew, you have quite a lawsuit against me if this is going to hold up in court. Based on those lists.
No, but you know what I like? This reminds me of me having COVID yesterday where I didn't even have to return phone calls. I didn't have to do anything.
Yeah.
This guy with this birthday, these fuckers all made it about them. It had nothing to do with his birthday anymore, to the point where they fired him because he caused them to be sad that he wasn't happy enough with his cake. Like,
well, there's a part of me though, and I hear what you're saying, and I want to believe that I want to believe that he was wronged, but this guy seems like kind of, I don't know.
he's trying to get a money grab.
No, I mean, I feel like this
Dramatic?
guy, this dramatic, like this kind of, and I don't know the situation because I would hate to be this guy and hear two people on a podcast, saying what they think because they don't know anything. But this is sort of sounding like, I went to a comedy show and like I suffered because she brought up this word and like I can't listen. Like it reminds me of the girl in high school that wanted attention because this boy that she barely even dated broke up with her, and she wanted attention from everyone at the party. So when Eric Clapton's, she go to a party, that song came
And
on, Wonderful Tonight came on, she started crying being like, I can't turn it off. Like it reminds me of Rick, please. And it's just like, there's a little bit of that, but also I do understand like some people make birthdays about them and like give too much. I mean, that is the classic thing. So I can't decide. I just think that when people get this litigious, it's just a little suspect. But it could be the McDonald's burning thing where we just go, oh, did you get burned? And it's like, yeah, her fucking skin burned off to the bone. She maybe deserves $4 million.
I mean, part of me thinks
from
though,
a company
like,
that makes billions.
If you're
There
a better
was a jury
employee
on the case.
Okay.
A 12-person jury. So 12 people had to listen to everything and decide that it was legit.
And he got it.
Yeah.
Oh, well, you know what? Good. Well, then I trust. I mean, I'd like to say I trust juries, but Simpson.
It is interesting that like how good of an employee, like if he was very important to the company, one panic attack, temper tantrum, is that going to cause me to fire him? Probably not if I was the boss.
Have you guys ever considered doing a lawsuit?
No, because it's too many forms. I'd have to meet an attorney.
Yes.
It'd be so.
You'd have to get Ailey to do it for you. Yeah, Noah, can you speak of what it is?
Okay, I had a lawsuit. Remember, I talked about the speaker falling on my head. And, my lawyer advised me to take the settlement because once you call in doctors to the podium and all that, he said suing people costs a lot of money. And are you sure you want to get into this?
Right. And that's why Trump constantly can get people silenced because he just sues them and they don't have money to actually fight it. So they just
I forgot to say
up.
I did. I sued my landlord in New
You did?
York, and I had to do a like no bullshit. It was like the most work I've ever done in regards to getting shit together, talking to all 6 of my roommates.
Yeah,
like,
I remember
and then,
that was being so impressed by that.
And it was what's it called when the lawyer does it for free? Because
Pro
they
bono.
make so much
Pro
money.
bono.
Yeah, pro bono because they felt so bad about.
And they love you too.
So we did all of this, and they're like, "Yeah, you guarantee you have a case." Blah blah. Blah. We didn't win. Like, and it took like 3 years to find out if we'd win or not. And I stayed in the apartment probably a year longer than I probably would have, because I was like,
didn't know
"Oh,
that
I'm
you
just
didn't win
accumulating more money."
Interesting.
Whatever.
No,
Anyhow, so
the
I did
settlement,
all that.
Did
and then
you
got
feel like
nothing.
it was it a good amount of money? Was it decent, or did you go back for more?
You give 30% of it to your lawyer, and then the rest of it is taxed, and then you're left with like nothing.
That's the thing. Is like that's what I do. That's the math I do whenever I get a job. Like there was something I recently my business manager wrote me recently about I'm paying taxes. I do it like quarterly, I guess. And the amount of money, I don't even want to know. It's not mine. Like when I get a gig, I take away 3/4 of it. And that is probably what I can say I walk away with after all is said and done. Really. I mean, I think that it would be nice almost, it's almost like when you go to Walgreens, and I remember as a kid being like, why don't they just put the tax on it? Because I get it, tax changes, but like you always get this new higher amount. I just want to know what I have. Like, I just want to know. Like, I don't want to see what I would have made and what they take out. Just take it out and then give it to me, because it feels like it was mine then when it was never mine. And also, there's been this TikTok going around that I love, and different people kind of say the same thing, but how we live in a country where we have to pay taxes, obviously, but we have to figure out what we have to pay. And they could really, and then they come after us for like, actually, you owe this. And it's like, if you fucking know, then just tell me. Don't make me figure it out. But the reason they do that is because TurboTax and these companies, Intuit, they lobby Congress to make it so that they can exist. They don't need to exist. They pay Congress to make it so that this is the system that we have to go through them. We have to TurboTax things and pay them to do our taxes. They don't need to exist because the IRS knows how much we owe. They come after us for it eventually. It's just so weird.
It's also way harder if you have like a job like we have where you can make money from like 19 different things. It almost, and so do like entrepreneurs or people starting their own business. It's so much easier to pay taxes when you just have a normal 9 to 5.
Yes.
Like regular pay.
Oh,
they take it out already.
I could not. I didn't. I had to have my dad do it before I got my own business. I don't know how people do it. I'm just so like in
It's
awe
usually
of
with an
people.
accountant. I don't know how people do it on their own. That's
But
what
they
makes it
do
easy.
TurboTax, or they, are smart enough to figure it out, or they get, someone, or they just don't do it, and then they're fucked later on down the road. I want to say that I almost did a lawsuit, or I looked into it when I found that cap in my vagina that I thought that was from a yeast infection thing that I didn't even remember doing it, but this cap was in my vagina for years, possibly, and I looked into, I like wrote lawyers about it being like,
wait, how long do you really think this cap was in there?
A year.
The blue
And I
cap.
had yeast infections from, like, it was a cap from a monostat thing. It was a blue cap that I found, that my first boyfriend found in my vagina the same day that Sully Sullenberger landed in the Hudson. He was fingering me and goes, "What's that? I felt it on my dick so much. I always feel
That's
this
what
scraping
Sully
on my
said?
dick." Yeah. And he said, get your flotation device. Yeah. No, he said, and then he reached his fingers up and pulled out this cap. And I was like, I don't know what the fuck this is. It was my first boyfriend. I was so nervous about like this guy finding this weird thing inside me. We were at a hotel that I got for us because we both lived with our parents and couldn't like hook up. And there's this whole story around it, but I finally find out that this cap that I can't identify is from a monostat thing because there was this other girl that had it too, and she found one in her vagina. There's a bunch of girls that I found online, not a bunch, two. One of them thought it was aliens put it in. I stopped talking to her right away. Then the other one was like, no, it's a monostat cap. And I was like, oh, fuck. So, because I wrote I wrote lawyers, I wrote my gynecologist being like, is anything like this like in your office? Did you leave something in me? Like, I didn't remember using it. And then I found out it was this monostat cap. So I wrote my lawyer being like, can we sue? Like, what do we have? And then I realized I'm just a broke person looking to make some money off of this unfortunate thing. Like, I see an opportunity. I wasn't really, I had some mental anguish because my boyfriend found a cap in me and it was embarrassing. Is that financially, I'm probably going to make money off of this story and like the trauma that gave me. Like, it felt like, me, because people were like, Nikki, you gotta sue, and I was like, okay. I mean, I'm broke at the time. I'm like, let me look into it, and I was just like, in the end, I was like, no, this would be a lie to act like it was really mental distress. So that's.
Did you feel like? How did you get the cap? Like, how did it stay in you? You think? Like, do you think you had a case?
I think
like,
I was like I just didn't read the instructions right. And that could be like they didn't make the instructions clear enough because there were 3 girls I found online who also had the same thing. And this,
well, you also thought C meant COVID, so there's a trend.
I know, that's the problem. I thought it meant cap. I'm like, there's another one in there. Fuck, there's one in my nose. Swap it out. All right, we gotta go. We'll come back with why do I care? Why do I care? All right, why do I care?
Joe Alwyn reveals if he'll write more songs for his girlfriend Taylor Swift under his pseudonym William Bowery.
Of course he will. He loved it.
So in an interview with Elle, he responded, "It's not a plan of mine, no."
Okay, they are so private, these two. They do a really good job. They don't talk about anything. There was this
I had
headline
no idea
this
she had
weekend.
a boyfriend.
Oh, dude, she's been with him for I think 5 or 6 years now. they're serious. I mean, people speculate that they're already married and stuff, but he, she had attributed songwriting credits to this William Bowery, and no one knew who that was. And it turns out that William, I believe, is maybe his middle name or something, and then Bowery is the Bowery Hotel is where they first met. Fans have discovered, so that's was his thing, and she talks about on the Long Pond sessions having written with him, and he's musical, and so they wrote, I think, Betty together. I think he wrote he had the melody for Betty going, and a couple songs off Folklore and Evermore, and it's interesting because there was an article this weekend, a headline that said, Joseph Alwyn says he doesn't want to keep his relationship secret, and that was the headline, and I was like, he would never say that. Their relationship is more secret than any Hollywood relationship. You do not see footage of them unless she is very much into putting it out there. They are private as fuck. And she does a good job of it because she knows how much that stuff affects relationships. So I was really shocked to read this article. But then I read further, and all he said was, we wouldn't be keeping it secret if it wasn't this way. This isn't what I want. This isn't what I want. It just is the way it has to be. He said it in a way that was not. These articles always do clickbait of he doesn't want to do this. She's making him. That's what it made it sound like.
Yeah.
It's just so interesting how journalists can manipulate stuff.
It would be great if he's breaking up with her, but he's here's 6 songs I already wrote about myself that I'm sure that you're gonna love. How shitty they are towards me. You can just pay my manager. here's the whole album. I'm sorry I broke your heart, but here's.
Would you feel if Brenna wrote
does he
a bunch
get paid
of songs,
for that? Does he get paid for that? Those songs?
He won a Grammy.
How do you think that goes down though? Do you think that the pay scale it's whatever a writer makes, do they talk about that, you think, as a couple?
I think it's already there's rules, if you have this kind of credit, it's not up to the artist. It's pretty much set union scale stuff.
Gotcha. You don't think it would I guess it wouldn't really affect the relationship. But anyhow, what were you gonna ask?
No.
About Brenna?
You've worked with Chris.
Yes, I haven't.
And Chris
worked
has
with
helped
Chris.
you on your specials. I mean,
yes.
has that?
And I just talked to him about it yesterday. I have begged for him to take money because he's helped me so much, and I've paid people, my friends who have assisted with producing. Elna Baker helped me on Bangin'. She helped me put it together and kind of come up with a theme. I paid her, on this on the side from my own money. And then Chris has helped me with all of my specials, producing wise, and will not accept money. I sent him a check once when we weren't together because I was just I don't want him to think I just used him or whatever. And I think we kind of had a breakup at the end of it. I'm the opposite of Taylor Swift. I say too much, but it was the end of, I just taped Bangin' actually. And we had become so close during Bangin', and I thought, you know what, we're getting back together. He is just amazing. I want to be back together. And he was like, no, I'm not ready for that. And I didn't know that this meant that you were, and we just had a misunderstanding. And I was like, okay, fine. And then I sent him a check being like, well, then that you can't even, I'm so hurt that you don't want to be with me, that all that help you gave me, I'm going to pay you off so that you don't, that it meant nothing to me either, And I don't think he ever.
He was like, "Can I break up with you twice?"
Yeah, but I love working with I think it's the best thing ever is that you can work with your friends and family, but it does get tricky. All this stuff does get when there's money involved. It becomes I want to work with Chris all the time, and I want it so that he can just work with me and not have to do other jobs because he's so good at helping me be better. And it's just a thing of but I do that anyway. I don't need to get paid. And I'm like, but I want you to be more free so you don't have to do other work so you can do me. So can I please pay you? And then it becomes I don't want to be on your payroll. And I'm like, oh, but what's the difference between a husband and wife? Like a husband, it's different when it's a woman with money. And he's not any kind of sexist old man rules. He's just, wants to respect me and my money and doesn't want to he just does things out of love, not because of money. But I'm like, but this is a job, and I wouldn't be making as much money without you. So it's interesting. I'll figure it out someday. Let's get to Reddit dump. This is your Reddit dump. Alrighty, here we go. It's time for Reddit dump. I love that little giggle you have at the end there. All right, so I liked this tweet yesterday that I found on the subreddit Hole Up, HOLUP. It's like at the Hole Up is where something's fine and funny, and then at the end it's like, wait, what? That's Hole Up. This is from a tweet by K. Thor Jensen. It's a screenshot of a tweet on Reddit. My wife just said bukkake in front of the kids, to my shock. She then admitted that she didn't know what it meant and thought it meant like bullshit or something fake. And she said, I say it in meetings. I made her Google it, and now she's having a panic attack. It does sound like something in all that bukkake. Like, it doesn't sound like a bunch of people.
Is there a word like that though? Where
Possibly,
she's mixing up a word? Because I feel like I've thought that before too. Before I like found porn and like seen Wait, what is bukkake? Is that like the cartoon?
Okay,
porn?
we're learning that Andrew doesn't know what bukkake means. So you would hear that and not think a sexual thing? Noah, will you tell Andrew what bukkake is?
A bukkake is when like a bunch of men just like come on a subject
At the same time.
Oh,
That's bukkake.
kind of hot. Okay, so man, she was
saying
amazing.
that in meetings, and I'm sure guys who like knew what she was talking about.
I wonder how
were
she
just
used it in a sentence at a meeting.
I believe it was probably like, oh, that's a bunch of bukkake. Listen, we got to get back to these TPS reports. You know what I mean? Like, I bet it was just, it's like, you know, that is so, if our besties have any examples of when they used words like that. Because I feel like I've done that before too, where I didn't know what I know what I did. I was in college, and I said I used the word castrated instead of
casserole.
No, instead of cast out. Like, he was castrated from the community, and she was like, I remember her circling it and being like, "Look up this word, Nikki." No, it was my AP English teacher in high school, Miss Larson. Miss Larson used to be she was the one that when the September 11th happened, and right after it got announced, the Twin Towers got hit, or the Twin Tower was one tower. I go, "What's the Twin Towers?" And she goes, "You don't know what the Twin Towers are." She was so like, I was just like, I don't know. So I remember her being like, "Look up what this means." And then I remember in college, my professor circled the word. I said, and a colored color, and he had so many colored friends, like colorful, I thought. And he circled it and goes, "You might not want to use that word," but I thought it meant colorful. So those are my examples. Here's from Ask Reddit. This made me happy to read a bunch of these. What never fails to make you horny? What never fails to make you horny? Someone said, being wanted, not just wanting my pussy so you can come, but wanting me. This one is my newest erogenous zone that I didn't know I had, but I'm so glad some other woman put it. Talking where I can feel his breath on the back of my neck.
Yes.
Holy moly, I didn't know that was a thing.
Wait, what do you mean by that?
Right here, like
It's like whispering around your ear.
Take your ear, like behind your lobe, go down.
But he's
2
not behind
inches.
you.
Yes.
He is behind you at
Yes.
this point.
Or, you know, they can be like, they can just walk, but like breathing right there, for some reason, it is, I can't even take it.
But wait, are you already having sex, or are we like in the kitchen and he just
and this
rolls
is something
up
I
on
learned. No, this is, I think he was like laying on top of me, maybe just like whispering hot things. I mean, it was already a hot scenario, but what it did to me, I just was like, I can't. Like, it was like I was being tickled, but horniness. It was so good. Someone said a really good tight hug from behind so I can feel his junk up against me, wrapping his arms underneath my breasts and either whispering in my ear or kissing them. When a man puts his hand on the small of my back and draws me in close. Oh my God. Actual moans, not fake ones or joke ones, LOL, just real ones. When a guy wears short sleeves and does that stretch with their arms behind their head. All right, these are all women. This is supposed to be, men too. But Andrew, is there anything that, someone said, come inside me when a woman says that. What never fails to make you horny? Andrew's frozen, I think, because he just heard the words come inside me. You guys need to see his face. I hope that's recorded. It's so funny. He's frozen, just looks like someone just said, come inside me. And he's like, hi, Andrew, welcome back.
Oh, Andrew dropped.
Well, someone also said a woman in a tank top and jeans. Don't know why, but it does it for me. Is there anything that comes to mind for you, Noah, as we wait for Andrew to come back?
Moaning from men or like any kind of like grunting sounds.
Mike the men. Men.
Totally Mike the men situation.
All right, Andrew, you're back.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Just in time for this one is so fucking weird. It's a little bit of a story, so it's story time. Final thought. This one is from True Off My Chest. Oh boy. This one's fucked. My twin and I had a sexual relationship for years. I'm so ashamed. This might be the one that makes people horny. Pretty much the title. I've never told anyone this. The twin and I do not have and have not discussed. I don't even remember how or why it started, but we eventually grew out of it. We're both doing fairly well in our respective careers and lead stable lives. We've had a normal sibling relationship for many years now. I don't think about this as often, and I'm left feeling really gross and ashamed when I do. Please don't ask for details. I'm only posting because I want the secret to not weigh on me heavily anymore. So if anyone wants to ever get a secret off their chest, just do an anonymous post on True Off My Chest. No one will ever know. So if anyone is curious, yes, I have been to therapy, but I've never broached the subject, nor do I plan to. So then they update it because people start asking questions. So they go, so the questions are, what are your genders? I do not feel comfortable answering this question. Am I from Alabama? While I get that this is in jest, no, I am not. Someone said this, you should bring this up in therapy. He goes, this person said, I've been tempted to, but I honestly cannot even get the words out. I have never actually voiced this even to myself. I don't think the aftermath would be worth the potential relief of having told a professional. Someone said fake post. He says, I mean, well, you're welcome to believe that, but it is not. I honestly wish it was though. Someone said, you're disgusting, sick. And he says, I think so too. Really appreciate all of you sharing your stories and some of the studies behind this. I feel less alone and a little relieved. So I read into this, and apparently this is a very common thing that happens between twins, is that they have weird sexual stuff happen between them. Have you guys ever heard of anything
Well,
like
is
this?
is there a story in detail here?
No, they don't go into detail. They just wanted to get it off their chest. Me and my twin have hooked up. There is something about when you carry something like that, being able to take it somewhere. And I feel like, you know, getting back to my favorite subject, molesters, if you're having those thoughts early on and you've not acted on them, there's nowhere for you to go and say, this is what I'm dealing with. And I think that not just that secret, but like any secrets that we carry, there are certain ones that you can't share with anyone like this, right? But I'm glad that this person had that place to go.
Yeah, I had a guy write in. I asked for stories on puddles or whatever, and the guy wrote in and said that him and his sister were fighting when they were kids, so he would constantly kill her betta fish, like for years, and like just needed to get it off his chest. And I was like, I mean, it felt weird.
Wow.
That he's like, I could go to you. I mean, I guess it felt pretty good, like I'm a priest or something, where I'm not gonna judge him. But he's like, yeah, thanks, man. I needed that. And I was like, you're welcome, I think.
I mean, is that, you know how serial killers start out torturing little animals?
Yeah, I mean, and betta fish usually die in like 2 days anyways. So it's like,
yeah.
It's a good animal
I had
to
one
start
that lived
with.
for 2 years. I had a
Seriously?
beta fish.
Did?
Yeah. His name was
That
Plankton.
sounds like an alpha to me. But that's so weird. You guys are trying to find it. Last night I was on Reddit and I didn't save it, but someone had said on maybe on the same subreddit, I forget, that she just found out her parents were twins, and she said that her parents.
Wait, what? Oh,
Yeah, this girl on Reddit said anonymously, I just found out my parents are twins. She's 37. She was driving her dad died like a year ago, tragically in a car accident. Her mom tried to kill herself, was in a psychiatric hospital as soon as it happened, because she said her parents growing up were like everyone always said, oh my God, they look like they newlyweds. Like it really fucked her up because she's never seen a couple like it, and she could never emulate like their love. And what she found out, her mom got drunk following this psychiatric thing, and like, you know, is out of the hospital, doing well, is stable. And her mom got drunk on Easter, and she was driving her home, and she was like, I need to tell you something. Your dad and I are twins. We're fraternal twins. We grew up in Germany. We started masturbating in front of each other when we were little. Then it turned into mutual masturbation. Then it turned to us hooking up. We would stop hooking up because we knew it was wrong, and then we would eventually do it again. eventually we were just so in love with each other that we knew we would never be able to be together. So they left Germany, where they were from, created new identities in America, completely just disappeared from their lives, and then had one child, which is her, and she has no deformities. She's totally normal. And then everyone was like, oh my God, there was another thing about twins hooking up, and which was the one I just read. So Reddit is a weird place, and I believe all of it, but maybe I shouldn't. And I wanted to also, let's do one of my videos. Noah, would you be prepared to play the Will Smith one? Because I forget what this is, but I did save it. And I know that the Will Smith slap stuff is all kind of, we're over it.
When I was 15 years old, my first girlfriend cheated on me.
Oh.
And I remember making a decision that nobody would ever cheat on me again. And the way I was going to do that is by being the biggest actor on earth. Right?
Someone's laughing.
So
who's filming it?
There's been this weird psychology that is weird, buddy. Like, if my movies are number one, my life is going to work out great.
Interesting. And the truth is, he doesn't get cheated on because he knows about it. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, having an open relationship, it's not necessarily cheating. So, and it is interesting, though, that he thought becoming the number one actor, he was motivated by getting cheated on to become the best because the number one actor doesn't get cheated on, which we all know is not true and doesn't prevent it. But it's so funny to see all these Will Smith things resurface and these different quotes. Did you see them high five over like bad marriage for life? Did you see that one?
No, but do you think if the person decides to be in an open relationship, even though it's not cheating, I feel like whoever decides, the first to say, "Hey, I want to be in an open relationship," that feels like kind of cheating.
That's
you know
not
what I
a
mean?
betrayal to say that you want to maybe open up the relationship if you haven't already. That's not a betrayal. That's honesty.
I'm just saying, though,
disagree.
if it was me, if someone brought it up, whoever brings it up first, and if I agreed to it, maybe reluctantly, even though it's
on
my
you,
choice.
though.
I get that. I'm just saying that it could
But it
still
doesn't count
feel.
as cheating. Cheating is when you don't know. When the person does it to you and you don't know. I believe.
That's what I'm
I don't
saying.
believe that's up for debate. But I
I'm not
understand.
saying it's cheating, but I'm saying it's a
feel
soft,
the same.
a soft betrayal,
A soft
yes. cheat.
Yeah. I mean, going into an open relationship just to keep the relationship is one of the dumbest things I've ever heard. But I understand people aren't strong enough to leave, and so they put up with stuff. I've done that before in different ways, just not in that way. But Andrew, hope you feel better. We'll see you tomorrow on the podcast. This weekend, we will see you on the road. We will be 5 days or more outside of any COVID symptoms, so don't worry. We will be in New Orleans. We will be in Fort Lauderdale, Jacksonville, and Nashville. Can't wait to see you guys out there. Get your bestie merch now. Sport it on your Instagrams. We'll repost it. And we love you so much. And Dobika and Jack.
My twin off.